I am resident of Collinwood. Joel stands for YouTube. That's my buddy Bobby Lugosi. We're here to talk Dark Shadows, A Christmas Carol, which includes, for the biggest part, most of the Dark Shadows cast, for at least a good portion of them. Alexander Mulkey Isles, David Selby, David Hennessy, Nancy Barrett, the late Laura Parker, the late Mitch Ryan, my James Storm. It's like, holy shit.
It's
And then,
incredible.
yeah, right. Uh, did you watch this on the night it aired?
Yes, I did actually.
Yeah, me too.
I
What?
I I I, remember, I watched it the night it aired. I think it was. I don't think I watched it live. It was like the hour afterwards,
Yeah,
and then right after I watched it like the next night again with my mom. Like she had to see it.
I remember. I remember when they were advertising it, and literally as I was watching it, like on one screen, I'm like sharing it like to everywhere, like just to get it out there. Like go, and I put go watch this because already it was so good.
It's
You know,
incredible.
from the opening of how they did the Collinwood opening.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
All the opening, I love it with how it's like first it's the Dark Shadows theme, and then it goes into the Christmas music. It was like perfect. It was so exciting, and it's just man, it was like perfect, honestly.
Yeah, it was so neat. The fact that they had the snow in there too, and
Yeah, it's like everything about the whole production, they just did like top notch.
yeah, Ansel and them did a great job. I mean, just it was so great to see, like the like a lot of the cast together again. And I love how they get Mitch Ryan to narrate this.
Yeah.
And this is something I pointed out for my recording for later, that I pre-recorded my episode one, but I talked about how Mitch Ryan is the one who introduces us to the beginning and end of the world. That he's the one who talks to Victoria Winters at the train station. That he's welcoming her to Collinsport, in effect, welcoming us all.
Uh-huh.
And I thought it's really fitting that they get him to he doesn't just play the narrator, but that they get him to do the narration for A Christmas Carol. What did you think of that?
Yeah, I agree. It's such a special return. I mean, like he was there like in the first episode. He was there for the start of the series, So it's like huge that after all these years, he's back and is like he's kicking off the new adventure.
Yeah, it's really cool that he. It was just so cool to see him. I know he passed on since, but it was so cool that he got to do this. That a lot, be a part of this big production on Skype, or no, sorry, on Zoom. I'm so used to saying Skype. So on Zoom, it was so cool to see all them like together, like yeah, over the camera. And I'll tell you something. I really enjoyed how James Storm is playing Bob Crash.
I do too. You feel he's like just constantly intimidated by Scrooge.
Yeah, because I mean, for Dark Shadows fans like you and me, it's like we sort of get the symmetry here. Here's James Storm, who played Gerard Stiles, the ghost of Gerard Stiles slash Judas Zachary, whatever you want to say, and haunted the hell out of Collinwood
Uh,
and tortured the hell out of David Selby's Quentin. And now here's David Selby playing Scrooge.
uh,
Like the irony right there by Enzo and Company is just, it's hilarious. It's like you get it, right?
yeah, and and they were so good at conveying it. Like James Storm's body language was just like perfect. It was perfect as as Bob Cratchit. Because I know like part of it was like he had to read the script, but he made it work so well. Because you just like pictured him like just kind of scurrying around at his desk.
Yeah. Now I like how they get David Hennessy to play two parts in this. They get him to play Scrooge's nephew and Tiny Tim, um,
Uh-huh.
which I like. I like how they get. I like how he's like talking about Christmas, and he's like, David's up. He's like, you keep Christmas and yours, and I'll keep Christmas. I'm like, oh, but Uncle, you don't keep Christmas. You know I don't. But you know, David Selby nails Scrooge, man.
He does. Oh my gosh, he does so great. I'm so impressed when I watch him because when like see his eyes, you just you feel like he really is reacting to what like what the character is seeing.
Man.
Like when he like just the expression of like shock and like surprise and like the happiness feelings and like sad like I mean the story like I mean you have the narrator but the story is really told through Scrooge's eyes. And he just like everyone does great but like he carries it.
Yeah.
He like he sells the whole thing. He's amazing at it. Even like near the end when like Scrooge is excited because he's like found the spirit of Christmas and he's like cheering and so happy. You could if you look carefully, you could see Catherine Lee Scott just smiling because just like seeing like what a great job he's doing.
Yeah. she she's smiling here there. And
Uh,
I like how too like he plays Scrooge to exactly, really well. Like a lot of people predicted that David would be Scrooge. And I mean, he does a great job playing Ebenezer. I love David Hennessy as his nephew. I think their interaction is just golden
yeah.
between the two. Like, and him and James Thorne too. I mean, James really does a great job of just playing Bob Cratchit. He's like they're counting the money, like
Uh,
Bob Cratchit,
uh,
like like if the one employer you don't want you hollering your name. Oh, Scrooge, Ebenezer, yeah.
right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed how the whole cast still had great chemistry.
Really did. You know what part I love so much was when the the scene at the Cratchit house when Nancy Barrett sees David Hennessy, Tiny Tim again.
Yeah,
Like that was like man, that was Christmas magic. It was so heartwarming because like even on the even though on like the show they're cousins, they were really kind of like brother and sister.
yeah,
So that, like to have them like brother and sister again all these years later, it was magical.
yeah, and it gives you a sense of like because there are times that Carolyn really did care for David.
Yeah.
When you it depends on where you watch in the series, right? But with this, you get it because we're both Dark Shadows fans. You get this sort of sense of they really care for each other, and as DS fans, like you really appreciate the fact that they had Nancy and David play these parts.
Yeah.
You know, like David as Tiny Tim made a lot of sense. And the fact that he doesn't just play Tiny Tim too, I think, because a lot of the you get you you get Catherine Lee Scott as a caroler,
Uh
like part of the caroling, and you get Ebenezer Scrooge yelling at the carolers, and they're all doing it
uh
as a group, like, "Oh, we're just singing." It's like Christmas, like the story of Scrooge, the story of A Christmas Carol, is just so interesting. And to see it done with the Dark Shadows crew, because Dan Curtis always wanted to do A Christmas Carol, and so they did it here, out of sort of an honor to Dan and to finally do it. It was done really, really well.
it
You know,
was. I remember it was a Dark Shadows panel discussion where I saw Dan Curtis talking about I wasn't there, but like I saw like the DVD and it was him talking about wanting to do the Christmas Carol.
Mm.
And John Carlin said to Robert Rodan, "Rodan, you would have made a great Tiny Tim."
They did when they were done. They did a brief Q&A. It wasn't too long, but they asked who would Dan Curtis have cast as Ebenezer, and Mitch Ryan's like Joan Bennett. I'm just like, here's the thing. I could see Dan doing a female Ebenezer.
I could see it too, because he was really creative like that, and like knew how to turn like the classic stories like on their head.
Yeah, he would have pulled something slick too. He would have. It would have been interesting if Dan Curtis would have got to do sort of his Christmas Carol. I know, like, who would he have put as Ebenezer? It would have been interesting. But we got this. I think this is great that we got this as fans. That one we can all look back and go, you know what? We may not got Dan's vision completely, but we got a Dark Shadows Christmas Carol.
Yeah, and it was like it was done super well. Everything with the music.
Yeah.
I thought the like the mixture of the Christmas music and the Dark Shadows music, I thought they did it really well. And they used like honestly like the music cues they got used from Dark Shadows, they were like in the perfect spots.
Yeah.
You know how they used Ode to Angelique during the scene when Scrooge's fiance is like breaking it off with him. Like that was like that perfect piece of music for that moment.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't like use Josette's theme for that. I'm glad they did use O'Dams. Like I'm
Yeah.
with because Josette's theme would have been like, yeah, she jumps off Widow's Hill. So she gets put under a spell. I don't know, but I don't
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
guys. But if they would have used Josette's theme, my image would have been like Josette on top of Widow's Hill, Josette going off of
Oh
Widow's
yeah.
Hill.
And especially because Laura Parker was playing the character, like the Ode to Angelique was like it was perfect.
Yeah, she was playing Scrooge's former love.
Uh-huh.
Like it's like it, and it makes sense too because even if you haven't watched Night of Dark Shadows, for those who haven't seen Night of Dark Shadows yet, which by the way I'll be doing a retrospective of that too.
Cool.
That if you haven't seen Night One, go watch it too. The 1970 parallel time arc. Quentin was married to an Angelique. He was married to and we saw Laura Parker play twins in that art. So it's nice to see this little, they did a lot of homage to Dark Shadows within the course of the Christmas Carol. No, not just the music. Yeah, the music was there, but little nods to the series here and there were a lot of fun.
Yes, I even noticed when they said what exactly was the line, but they say the word Dark Shadows in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like and like we were saying, like the casting, all the roles were like they were cast perfectly. How you had Nancy Barrett and David Hennessy, his brother and sister. How James Storm is playing timid Bob Cratchit. Like it's everything about the production they just did so well.
What did you think of I'm trying to think of his name. Oh my god. Oh, the guy who played Reverend Trask. God.
Oh, Jerry Lacey.
Yeah, Jerry Lacey playing the ghost of Bob of Marley.
Oh, that was perfect. That was perfect because he's very Jerry Lacey's intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially like I mean, I'm sure he's a very nice person, but like when he's acting, he's intimidating. And so he was so it really gave like a ghostly presence for that role, and I love the special effect that they did with it too.
Yeah, they shoot his face, and you could see like the chains like on his shoulders, and I
Yeah,
love how they did the rattling too. Man, when Jerry Lacey speaks, and again he played a reverend. He knows how to speak in a
yeah,
tone where his voice carries, and he sounds sinister and
yeah.
menacing. And he sounds menacing as Scrooge's former business partner,
Yeah.
warning them out the ghosts are going to visit you, and hey, great job by him. Speaking of ghosts, Alexander Multi-Isles made her return
Yes.
during this as the ghost of Christmas passed. What did you think of that?
Oh, again, the perfect part.
Yeah.
The absolute perfect part. Especially how Victoria Winters, how she was infatuated with by the past and got trapped in the past. Like she's like the classic gothic heroine. So it's the perfect. It's on. I feel like that's what Dan would have done.
Yeah.
You
She
know.
does. Yeah, she does a really great job too. I mean, I love how David Selby sells the fear of the ghost, the first
Yeah.
ghost, like the ghost of Christmas past, and she's showing her all the past event. She's showing him all the past stuff. What a great character for her to play.
Yeah.
And knowing Victorian Winters' history, again, another nod to DS.
Yeah.
It just Enzo and Company did a great job. I can't say that enough about with all the Christmas Carol stuff, nodding the characters to the show as well.
Yeah.
It just I really loved her and David's chemistry because they didn't get to act together on the show.
You're right. Yeah.
So I mean, just to have that natural chemistry with each other was really well done. I mean, they're both professionals, but it was still fun to see.
Right. Like that's what's so great about Dark Shadows is always like the different like assembly of the characters. You know how like on the original series, how each episode was like kind of a different grouping of them,
Yeah.
and they always like they always go so no matter what how you assemble them, they always do so well together.
Yeah, because it's not like there are times that like not all the characters are in one episode.
Right? Yeah.
Like sometimes you'd only have like four, maybe three or four, maybe sometimes five, but it wouldn't be every character that was on the show. There would be so many characters. And so like it'd be, for example, it would be like if you did 1897, it would be Jerry Lacey, Nancy Barrett, father, daughter, Trask. It would be Quentin Collins, and it would be somebody else. And so it would be four people. But those four actors did a hell of a job.
Yeah.
Like here's a great example. There's an episode where Lewis Edmonds is playing Edward, but he's a different character because of Count Potofi. He's choking Quentin Collins. When the episode is it's Jerry Lacey, it's Amy Jennings or Amy, or not Amy, but Denise Nicholson, and David Selby, Jerry Lacey, Denise, um, Lewis Edmonds. So four people, and you get this and you also get the introduction of Amanda Harris in the episode. Now, there's actually like six characters in this episode because of the Tim Shaw, but the fact that you get that not many characters and you don't have Barnabas, you don't have you don't have Judith, but you have a mention. They would always mention a character who, if they weren't in an episode,
Yeah.
this is where this character is. Like for a great example too is like when they're doing 1841 parallel time, and Quentin is like they keep saying about Quentin's in the village, because David Selby had appendicitis. Like David Selby, this is how they write his character off, that he goes to Boston, which I found interesting. You know what I mean? I think, again, very interesting how they did 1841 parallel time. I'm glad they didn't kill off his character in 1841.
Right. Yeah.
Like because that would have been interesting. But sorry, I'm cutting off topic for this. But with the Christmas Carol, they do a really great job of just not just nodding to the show, but taking the actors they have, and just setting the roles right. I think they did such a great job, and the actors themselves and actresses. We talk about how Dark Shadows, the actors and actresses didn't get a chance. Hollywood didn't give them a chance, and like when you watch a Christmas Carol, when do the Christmas Carol thing, production, you go, why the hell did they not?
Right. That's what I was when I was watching that. I was thinking I mean, we always know it, but like these guys are such great actors, and they didn't, you know, they they didn't just like do it as like a lark for the. I mean, I'm sure it was they had fun, but like you could tell that they took it seriously. That they especially like the bigger parts, like David Selby. He had to have worked on that his interpretation of Scrooge.
Yeah.
They really did like you uh you saw the actor in all of them.
Yeah. I really like it. I like how Marie Wallace like bundled herself up.
Oh
like,
yeah,
like
yeah.
like she was outside. Like I like how they do that effect too. Like when they're showing characters outside, they're wearing something. Like they have something on. Like they're wearing something. And even like when like early on, when you see David Hennessy, like he's Scrooge's nephew, he's like wearing something not like warm or like, and
Yeah.
like to like James Storm when he's got that scarf on, it's like he's Bob Cratchit. It's like that's just so much fun to see the wardrobe of it.
Right? Like they like and that's what I mean. Like the actors they put like thought into it because like yes, it's minimalist. It's not like a
Mhm.
full full sets and everything, but they thought like what couple props can set the scene right. To make it seem like I'm really cold.
Yeah, and I mean that's really smart too. Like you have these like little props that, hey, we are doing a Christmas Carol. We are doing it across the Zoom podcast. We do need to display these characters are indoors or coming from outdoors
Yeah.
indoors and it's cold. And I love how uh, they're talking about like the poor and stuff, and like Scrooge just is like, are there no jails? Are there no workhouses? Like, there no prison? Like,
He's
when
like
he
perfect. He's perfect as Scrooge.
Yeah, it's like David Selwyn nails Scrooge, and everybody nails their part too. I love Laura Parker, like we talked about as the love of Scrooge's past, and you hear the heartbreak between the two characters. It's like you really feel sad for Scrooge a bit there. Like what are you doing?
Yeah, you like because you see part of his world collapsing, but like at
Man,
that point, like it's too late for Scrooge to really care that much.
man, it really is too. It's like that was in the past, so now he has to focus on the present.
Yeah.
He gets his last ghost, Death, who is the facial feature is by the late Christopher Pennock, which I love how they did that. What did you think of that?
I thought that was wonderful that they still got him in there.
Yeah,
You know,
I
he,
thought.
I, because I was Facebook friends with Christopher Pennock, and I mean, like a lot of Dark Shadows fans were, and he was just such a wonderful presence on Facebook.
Yeah,
And I mean, I never got to meet him in real life, but like I miss him on Facebook.
yeah,
He was always like so much. It was always so much fun to read his posts. It was interesting to read what he was saying. So it was wonderful that they still found him, still got him in there.
yeah. And to see him, like, even though you knew he was gone, it was so cool. You know what I mean? That little, it melts your heart to see that. Like, even
Yeah.
today, like when I went back and rewatched it today, it's like I knew it was going to be Chris's face like popping up, but even when it said that, I'm like, yeah, man, that is so cool. Christopher Paddock's death. And here, well, once again, David Selby is just selling it, like his name, like Scrooge's name on a headstone. And I think this is just such a great version of Christmas Carol with the DS cast, the way they did it. An amazing job. Um, who was somebody you were sort of shocked to see in the production?
I was really shocked to see David Hennessy, and really, really shocked to see Alexander Mulkey.
Yeah.
That was because David Hennessy, he was there for the Dark Shadows Halloween reunion.
Yeah.
So I was surprised to see him, but like not as much. But Alexander Mulkey and Mitch Ryan too.
Yeah.
And like their roles were perfect.
Yeah. I think like everybody predicted too that David Hennessy would play Tiny Tim. I'm like, now if they have David Hennessy, like where he's like standing on crutches or some stuff, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, they're working that guy too hard. But no, they didn't do that. But like
it's even though he's older, like you could still see that like he still has the young eyes of David Collins.
Yeah, he does. David Hennessy has these innocent eyes, right? Like I agree with you, and it's the fact that he nails his like the we saw David Hennessy. I'm with you, was shocking. I guess my most shocking was seeing Alexander. I was so happy though that they got her in this. I mean, because no one's seen her in like forever. It felt like. But I mean, I've never met her in person, but I mean, just to see her on a Zoom play was like, as a fan, you're like, holy shit!
Right? Yeah, like to be like acting with them again for like the actual like group to be together again.
Yeah, it was amazing, right?
Yeah.
What's like if you could? We'll have a little fun with this. If you could cast the characters as like in their prime as if let's say if it was Joan Bennett and all that, who would you put as Scrooge?
Well, so like the two like main choices, Louis Edmonds would be. I feel like he would nail it because Joshua Collins is a little bit like Scrooge. And then you could also do like you could do a combination Barnabas Scrooge too, and like still have him Barnabas Collins, but have him go through the Scrooge experience.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'm with you on Jonathan as Scrooge and like Lewis Edmonds. Either one are good, but I'd have Jonathan as Scrooge, and I would have John Carlin as Bob Cratchit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah.
Like you're getting your Barnabas and Willie reference out the way without even saying a word.
That'd be perfect. Yeah.
Like I always like, I'm like, listen. Somebody asked me once. They said, "What's your favorite moment of Willie Lewis?" I listen. There's not a moment that doesn't go by that. Hey, Barnabas needed to cane Willie harder. No, I'm picky.
But, just saying, John Carlin goes to put like some coal in the fire, and then Barnabas grabs his cane.
Yeah, like that. Like it's just like it's classic. It's like when they put the makeup on Carlin's face and he's black and blue in the face. It's like, damn, Barnabas did a number on it. It's like you don't need to see it. You just need to see the scars and like the bruises.
And like the timid acting.
I'll tell you what though, I loved who got cast in their parts. I want to be clear, we're not nitpicky. We're just having our little fun cast.
Oh yeah.
Here, but everybody did a good job. I'll tell you who. You're right. Lewis Edmonds as Scrooge would have nailed that easily. My God, I'll tell you though, what would have been like if they would have did that, it'd have probably been Lewis Edmonds as Scrooge, and I wonder if it would have been either A. David Hennessy as Bob Cratchit, or who, see now I'm trying to think who you would have put as Bob Cratchit with Lewis Edmonds other than David Hennessy. Maybe David Selby. I could have seen Selby as Cratchit.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because
who would you cast as Marley?
Oh my god, Jerry Lacey was so good. It's so hard to like,
right?
You know what though? If it's reversed, like if it would have been Jonathan as Scrooge, I'd have put Lewis Edmonds as Marley.
Oh yeah.
But if it would have been Lewis Edmonds and as Scrooge, now I wouldn't have put. I would have probably go ahead and put either A. Jonathan as Bob Marley, or sorry, yeah, Marley, Philip Marley, but he was in the wrong name, but Marley, and or I'd have kept Jerry Lacey because Lacey did a great job.
Yeah.
I tell you, if he would have been alive, if he again, because we're like Dreamcasting here, I tell you who would have been really, really good as Marley himself would have been Robert Rodin, would have the menacing voice.
Oh yeah. That's really true, yeah.
But I mean, that'd have been really interesting to hear him like do Marley. I mean, I know he didn't get to do it, but it'd have been interesting.
Right, yeah.
Now, if Joan Bennett would have been, if Mitch Ryan is correct, which I gotta believe he would have been, if Joan Bennett would have been a female Scrooge,
that would have been really. Oh,
that would have been holy crap.
And like, she was the owner. And she was the owner of the Accounts for Enterprise.
Yeah, that's the thing too. That's something I talked about, like in like my retrospective, that Elizabeth, you find out in the very first episode of Dark Shadows who's in charge of everything. Yeah. It's Elizabeth, like the presence of her, the command of her. Yeah, like, you can tell who's the boss.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like of everything. You know the town's called Collinsport for a reason, but
even her stance, the way she holds it together.
Yeah, it's like her posture.
Yeah,
it feels like you're instead of like the Godfather S, if you will. Like she could order a mob hit if she wanted to.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, yeah, Joan speaks, everybody listens, and that's the thing too. Like, you could see her doing a female Bob Cratchit, but if they would now Tiny Tim, I can't imagine almost anybody else's other than David Hennessy. So that's like,
right, yeah,
Hennessy. But I loved my two. If I had to pick favorites with this, I loved obviously James Storm. James Storm, just as Bob Cratchit, nailed his how he was like scared and like asking for a raise.
Yeah. He always looks so timid. Like the body. That's what was so great about everybody. Is like the body language on everybody.
Right, and that's the thing too. In Dark Shadows, a lot of times with the characters they played before they said anything, you could sort of read their face and read their body of what they might be thinking.
Yeah,
and then it matched their words. Like there's a great example of early on when you see Burt Devlin smiling on the train, but when they get to the train station and Victoria tells them where she's going, that smile changes to a serious tone and look of, yeah, I know it very well. Like she says, do you know it? Like she was, I'm going to a house called Collinwood. Do you know it? And he turns on, yeah, I know it really. He says, I know it really well. And it's such a serious tone. It's not a smiley. He's not flirting with her no more. He realizes, hey, she works for the enemy. And I think with this, like you said, you see their postures like really on display in all of them, like Laura's, Nancy's, Jerry Lacey's, like David Hennessy's. You see all their posturing, and you see why they were such great actor, or still are great actors and masters of their own craft.
exactly. Like is everyone like I said, no one it wasn't just like a lark. They brought their actor A game to it. Like even like Marie Wallace as Mrs. Cratchit. Man, you just wanted to give her a hug. Like, and even like the character. Even like that character wasn't on for very long. She did such a great job that she's like unforgettable. And like even like again, like just like how they did in the old days, how they were able to switch from the different roles, like back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, I think, and it's not just the fact that they're on Zoom too. It's the
Yeah.
fact that their timing was right on.
Yeah.
Like they're as soon as they're on screen, they're on their lines.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know how many times they rehearsed it, but and I don't really honestly, I'm not meaning this in a cold way. I don't care because they were so goddamn great.
Right. Yeah. I think I read Catherine Lee Scott. I don't remember exactly where, but she said something like we're under rehearsed and going on live, just like old times.
I believe it. I mean, and here's the thing.
They make it work.
Right. They just made it work. And I could see them doing that because that's something they were used to.
Yeah.
It's what, yeah, we're not rehearsing that much. We're just going on.
Yeah.
Hey, it's what they're used to. I mean, no, we don't have Henry Kaplan giving report card grades. So.
Yeah. Well, and as a cast, they're so good at clicking with each other.
Yeah, I mean you can like if you never watched Dark Shadows, you even if you never watched it, you can tell these people worked together before.
Yeah.
Like really, they have not just that. Not if you never heard of the show and you go watch it, you go, God, they clicked right away, everything. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, and then you could literally look up their names and go, oh, they were all on this show. Oh, whether, and I'm sure, Ansel Farage and company realize this, that in a lot of ways, by doing this, they're getting younger generations to talk about not just A Christmas Carol, but Dark Shadows.
Yeah.
And, it's something I've told Patrick McCray. Anything that shines a positive light on DS, do it.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like, this here was such a huge thing for Dark Shadows because it let people know, hey, that cast, those people, those actors, they performed their ass off on that show and they knew what they were doing, and this proves it.
Yeah.
Like if you doubt the people on Dark Shadows as actors and actresses, your doubt is gone now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they nailed the hell out of this. And like you said, Catherine Lee Scott putting that just proves it.
Yeah, exactly.
If you could, here's one for you. If you could take any Dark Shadows actor and have them play a different role, a role in another franchise, what would it be?
Gee, that's a really, really good question. Huh. John Carlin is the Joker.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. That would be holy crap. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
John Carlin would be
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Now he was on Cagney and Lacey, I believe, too, right? He was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on that. Everybody, I think, has said David Selby is Superman, but he didn't get that part. But I've always said Jonathan Frid as Dr. Sam Loomis because I think he could have did it.
Yeah.
He could have did. Now he's a lot taller than I think the role in. But though too, they did initially try out Chris. They wanted Christopher Lee, and he's no short dude.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen Christopher Lee in the Three Musketeer movie?
No, I haven't. No.
Like him, he's he's opposite the movie the guy that played in Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston. Charlton Heston or him are both tall, right? So Christopher Lee's character kneels down in front of Charlton Heston, begging him, and it's like, here's this 6'5" dude on his knees.
Wow.
Like it's serious. Yeah. It's a serious scene, but it's funny as hell.
All right, yeah.
Because Christopher Lee's no short dude.
Right, yeah.
Like go watch that version of Three Musketeers. It's so like there's two parts to it, but it's in the second part, and it's so good.
I'll have to check it out.
It's like Christopher Lee.
Like even when he's kneeling, does he like still like kind of like he's still like imposing?
Well, he's not. He's begging.
Uh-huh.
Charlton Heston calls him little man, and it's just like that line alone is just like Christopher Lee is 6'5". He's on his knees and he's being called little man. Like, but it's a joke I made. We were just me and Patrick and Butch were discussing Will Penny, and we brought up that scene in the Three Musketeers. It's like Christopher Lee is like this tall, and like and here's Charlton Heston. He's tall too, and it's like you have a 6'5" guy on his knees to Charlton Heston. Heston's tall enough, and he's calling Christopher Lee a little bit, his character a little bit like little man, and it's just like it's hilarious. But it's a serious scene, but it's funny as hell.
Oh yeah. I gotta see it.
Yeah, you'll enjoy the action as hell.
I bet I would, yeah.
But yeah, it's a great movie. It's a fun movie. I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to ask you about a Christmas. What was your favorite part?
See, honestly, I love when honestly, it was the most heartwarming part was for me was when David Hennessy and Nancy Barrett see each other again as the Cratchit children.
Yeah.
And Nancy Barrett says, "It feels so good to be home." Like it, because this like this special, it fired on all cylinders. Because I always feel like the cast of Dark Shadows is like a family.
Yeah.
For me, it goes really well with Christmas. And like that moment, it was heartwarming to see.
David Hennessy as Ebenezer's nephew coming in the shop, antagonizing the hell and Selby's selling it too. It's like it's so funny, and it's so and Tiny Tim or Bob Cratchit's just over there like counting the money, like James Storm is just like the three of them together in that scene is great. That my other favorite. I as much as I love Alexandra Moltiasos as the Ghost of Christmas Past, and she did a great job.
Yeah.
I did love seeing her, but I loved Flora Parker as the ex-girlfriend. I think that's so magical.
Oh my god, yeah.
And one of my favorite scenes to go back and when I was rewatching this again today for a review, I went, "Oh my god, what a performance by the two of them!" I mean, the cast of DS doesn't get enough credit for their work. They don't. I don't know if they ever will, but if anyone from them is, we love you. We really do.
We love you guys. They're incredible.
They are, and that's the thing. It's like when you see them perform in other parts, it's like God, they're like I rewatched Raise the Titanic with David Selby in it. My God, he's good in that movie. It's like he makes you believe that it's possible, even though you know it's not. But amazing performance. All the cast around. That is, first of all, I want to thank Enzel Farage and company for putting that together. That was a lot of fun to watch.
It
Even
really
to go
was.
back, yeah, even to go back and rewatch today, it was still a
Yeah.
lot of. It's still a lot of fun.
It's like it's a great version of Christmas Carol, and it's a great version of Dark Shadows.
Absolutely, and I think that's the most fun of it for the DS fans too. It's like it's a complimentary piece to a show that you can really go watch and enjoy.
Yeah.
It really is. Is there anything you want to add before we get on out of here?
Just just that this was like a wonderful Christmas present that they gave their fans. Like they did such a great job, and the script they used was was perfect, and like I said, it was a great combination of Christmas Carol and Dark Shadows finally together.
I'm going to end this. I'm going to end the recording, but don't hang up on me.
All right.
Talk to you.